And joining us now is Khaled Elgindy. He's a senior fellow at the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. He joins us live from Arlington, Virginia. Sir, good to have you here on the program. Khaled, now that Netanyahu wants to control 70% of Gaza, plus we've seen a number of attacks on the Strip in recent days. Let's try to pick this apart. 70%. Does Netanyahu actually have a right to do this, according to the ceasefire agreement and Trump's 20-point peace plan?
No, of course not. I mean, even under the very, very skewed agreement that negotiated by Donald Trump, Israel is not allowed to go beyond what is called the yellow line, which is a little bit more than half of the Gaza Strip. And so already Netanyahu is boasting about the Israeli military controlling 60% of Gaza. So they've already moved well beyond the yellow line indicated under the ceasefire. And I would just add that the 70% of Gaza that he's talking about is just the beginning. He was questioned about, well, why not 100% of Gaza? And he said, basically, in due course, we'll start with 70% and we'll go from there. So this is, I think it looks, every indication is that this is part of the plan to seize control of all of Gaza and to empty it of its population.
Whatever happened to the second phase, where the Israeli troops were supposed to fully withdraw and Hamas disarm?
Right. I mean, the second phase has not gotten off the ground, in large part because even phase one has not been implemented. As we heard in the report just a few moments ago, not a day has gone by that Israel has not violated the ceasefire deal. Hundreds of Palestinians have been killed since the deal was signed in October. Israel has continued to restrict aid, particularly since the Iran war began in February. We've seen a massive reduction in humanitarian assistance entering Gaza. And so these violations have just become part of the norm. And there is no one really to enforce it. The second phase of the ceasefire deal is held up. Israel is refusing to move until Hamas has been fully disarmed. And so we're basically at a stalemate. There is no progress at all.
You're saying there's no one there to enforce it, but you had all those countries who signed up to Donald Trump's Board of Peace. What responsibility do they have to get this peace agreement or ceasefire back on track?
Yeah, well, I mean, theoretically, the Board of Peace is supposed to be the guardian and enforcer of this ceasefire deal. But in reality, the Board of Peace is a fiction. It is a sort of multilateral, has the appearance of multilateralism, but is really just the Trump administration that is running the show behind the scenes, and their envoy, Mr. Mladenov, who takes his orders not from the 19 members of the Board of Peace, but from the President and the Secretary of State of the United States. So it's still the United States calling the shots behind this facade of a Board of Peace.
Khaled, can I just ask you about the final thing here? Words from the Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz. He said on Wednesday that the government's ultimate aim was for large numbers of Palestinians to leave Gaza by what he called this voluntary migration. How much of that is Netanyahu's government sort of posturing ahead of the upcoming Israeli elections?
I don't think we can take anything that Netanyahu says. I don't think we can be dismissive of anything that he says or his government. Everything that they threatened, if you remember, at the very early days of after October 7th, Israel threatened to flatten Gaza. And a lot of people assumed that was just hyperbole and, deeply traumatized government that was speaking in bombastic terms. But we saw the outcome. The outcome was exactly what they promised. And so when Israeli leaders say they are going to remove the population of Gaza, we need to take that very seriously because they have followed through on the very extreme things that they have called for in the past.
Khaled Elgindy, a senior fellow at the Quincy Institute, thank you so much for joining us here on Al Jazeera.